in my background in capital markets, I was involved in Africa since 2008. Part of a team that sat between London and Cape Town, and saw the promise of Africa. A lot of us were from the continent. Some of us from North Africa, like myself, and then colleagues were from all over. And the dream was, the promise was as basic as you can describe it, which is things we might discuss through the course of this evening, which is your under-penetration and big consumer sector, a lot of efficiency gains. And then the appeal was such that we, at some point, had the largest Africa fund in the world. And then, as things developed over the ensuing decade, that asset class became slowly, gradually for us and for other of our peers, rolled into broader emerging markets. And it ended up having less money and eyes dedicated to it as an asset class. And I was actually quite disheartened by that over the course of that period. But then what really is a breath of fresh air is what happened towards the end of the decade, with far less involvement by myself, but as a spectator and occasional participant, which is everything that's happening in the ecosystem by the likes of yourselves and everyone in this room involved in the startup scene. Because a lot of the problems that plagued the continent were problems in terms of capital markets speak. Bankers speak of like liquidity, compliance, things that have to do with repatriation, but the core sort of potential was there. And it's really good to see the startup scene laying the ground for another sort of take two for Africa, for boring bankers like myself to then reallocate to it, which I'm very excited to do as we go ahead.